actually with their own business and doing things, and you know, from, we were talking about putting the piece of paper in the grocery store with you tear off the phone numbers and stuff like that.
It was the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, hey, but you know, which is crazy when you think about it, because that was only the 90s isn't that far away, and yet that was the norm. In fact, that was pretty creative things, and then you know, then they got, you know, so anyway, she's been around for a while. She's basically
It's like 2 times.
she's not nearly as old as me, so that's a good thing. But she's got lots of energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's ready to go. So let us give Becca
And hop on stage
a round
too.
of applause. Come on.
Thanks for that intro. Are we doing a selfie, Jenna?
No, you're on live.
You're live
I'm
Facebook.
on live.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Well, I love Greg's attire because I work from home, so my attire is usually pajama pants. I look pretty much, when FedEx comes to the door, I tell my husband, because he also works from home, I'm like, you get it. I'm not going to the door in my pajama pants. But I'm Becca Niederkrom, as we were discussing earlier. I just go by Becca. That name is humongous. I feel like I need to Vaynerchuk it up and hyphenate it. Anybody here know Gary?
Mm-hmm. Not personally. Gary V?
Not yet. So I run a website called, am I in line?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
Are
You got
the
anywhere you
horizontal
can walk.
stripes working, or should I have not worn horizontal stripes
You know what?
today?
I'm not going to go there. I think you did a good job at talking about how you're 23 years old.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you know, what's interesting is last night I was just across the street doing a podcast on Gen Xers. Anyone here a Gen X? Or beyond? Or beyond Gen X?
Yeah.
Anyone? All right. So we did a podcast on Gen X, that we are forgotten, that we are not gone. I run a website, as you can see here, wearedallasfortworth.com, and this is my local community where I really focus on local content for businesses. How can I spread their message where they'll like it, my readers will like it, but our dear friend Google, y'all know Google? Google will like it too, and we like it when Google likes us. So I talk a lot about adventures. I am a suburbanite that loves the DART train, so I have a ton of articles about riding the DART train, how to do it. I read a lot, I cuss a lot, but I also read a lot of Bob Goff from Love Does, so I bring a lot of whimsy into what I'm doing. There I was dressed as Buddy the Elf doing pillow fights in downtown McKinney. My site, I live in Plano, and so my site started out as We Are Collin County, and so I focused on Plano, McKinney, Allen, and Frisco, and it's grown from there, and so I decided to expand to We Are Dallas Fort Worth, and then the reason there's a dog there is because I do not have children. I have 2 dogs. I lean really hard into the dog mom, and so I started a dog mom group as a category under my umbrella, so I speak to the dog moms as well, and they are a really, really fun group. Here's the other thing. I have a lot of like straight faces. I'm extremely introverted. So if I say something that you guys like, can I get an amen?
Sure.
Okay. All right, there we go. We have some smiles. After this, I will be in my car like rocking myself. Like, oh my gosh, I need to go back to my introvert ways. So I am not as outgoing as you guys might think that I am, even though I did do Buddy the Elf.
We'll drain every bit of energy you have before you're done.
What's that?
We'll drain every bit of energy.
Okay.
Because you're an introvert.
I'm an introvert. All right, so here's how we go. We're going to start with the power of stories. Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Come on in. Who's doing it well? Then we'll go into why it matters. Where can we do this? And you guys are probably already doing a lot of this, especially if you're working with Jenna. Best platform tips. So I'm going to cover a bunch of platforms. Yes, there's more platforms. Am I going to talk about TikTok today? I'm actually not. Jenna will answer all your questions about TikTok if you want to get on there. We'll go through the customer avatar. Really, really important. 5 key takeaways. I want to get your takeaways. I'm going to force you to talk, and then I'll leave you with further resources. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Praise Jesus. Or whoever. I'm sorry, I'm not like politically correct. All right, so how do we go from word of mouth to world of mouth? We asked earlier, who here loves networking? Dave loves networking. So when I first started my business, I had a business called Computer Tutor for Seniors. And I quit my corporate job, and I said, oh my gosh, there is a huge need for our senior population. And I worked with 80-year-olds and up. 90-year-olds. I have one guy who has a YouTube channel in an independent living center off of Preston Road. He is fabulous, Sam. So I started there, and I built my business by networking. The problem was, I was going out and shaking hands, one at a time. And it was 2011. And in 2011, Google was here, Facebook was here, and it wasn't a way to grow my business. I thought, how am I going to do this? How am I going to keep shaking hands and get my message out there? So I could do two things. I can go online, or number two is I can grow sort of like a Geek Squad at Best Buy. And I said, I don't want to do that. That's not, I'm really, trying to achieve that lifestyle business. So I'm going to go online. I'm going to go to word of mouth. And here we are. For all my people that love networking, can I say that his name tag is on the right spot? If you guys are going to do networking, you know why. Do you guys know why your name tag goes on this side? Thank you. That's how you shake hands. So you have a better chance of remembering that person's
You can drag them
name.
right in next to you and make them read it. That's with your hand.
Oh, you pull them in?
Yeah.
We don't have a
I haven't tried that technique.
There's no good stuff.
So I was out networking. I was doing BNI. Have you guys ever done BNI? I hated it. I did BNI Park Cities, very connected. It was fabulous, but I thought, holy shit, I'm going to get in. Sorry, people who are watching.
No, they're
so
used,
that's
they're
Okay.
used to it.
Because marketers have as a marketer, do we not have
You
like
have,
the
you're
worst mouth?
under the F-bomb, like you haven't even met your quota, so.
Okay, okay. I will let the
Jenna has
F-bomb. I might look like a sorority girl, but I'm going to just let it rip. So BNI, fucking hated it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to figure out how to get clients, how to make money. I'm going to get the fuck out of here. There's two for you. Is that better?
Yeah, now you're on.
All right, amen. Who said amen?
Amen.
Okay, this feels like awkward now that we're praising that. But awesome. So,
Yeah, definitely.
how many of you guys have children? And what do they ask you at the end of the night?
Story.
Tell me a story. Do they ask for it one time?
No.
2 times?
Every day.
3 times?
Multiple
Every
times.
single day. So what we crave as humans is storytelling. In fact, I don't know if you guys know this story. You guys know who made this tractor?
John Deere.
John Deere. Guys?
Yes, John Deere.
I didn't hear from these guys.
John Deere.
All right.
Yeah.
People.
Amen. John Deere.
City slickers.
So, is this the city slicker crowd?
Yeah.
We do have the suits over
Hey, I
here.
grew up on a
And-
farm.
Used to sell John Deere tractors.
It's right there on the picture if they can't read it.
Well, even without that, it's green. We know it's John Deere.
It's John Deere. These guys are just staring at me.
Oh, we
No,
know.
they
So 1895. Do you guys know what John Deere did? He had equipment to sell. Jenna, you probably know this. He had equipment to sell, but he wanted to become a resource for the farmers. And this was our first content marketer because he started a magazine called The Furrow, F-U-R-R-O-W. Not the Fuhrer, the Furrow. I can't figure out how to pronounce it, but I just want to be very clear in our crowd to folks on Facebook Live. This is awkward now. I'm trying not to make this awkward. So he started this magazine, and the magazine was teaching farmers how to become better farmers, how to be better business people, how to make more money. And of course, his equipment was placed throughout the magazine. So that started in 1895. And guess what? Is John Deere still around? Yeah, because we all know that. There's toys at Target now that are full of John Deere toys. And they even have a podcast now of, I think it's called Of Life and Land. I don't know if anyone here listens to it, probably not this side of the room, but I'm thinking my down-home folks over here. Rayanne is like, yes, praise Jesus. I love that podcast. So they took it to a podcast.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
And now we're talking.
Oh, we're, that's what they're amening.
Okay, now I can get out of
Now
the
we
room.
can name that, all right.
So my husband and I go to Ireland. We like going somewhere cold during August, get away from the sunshine. And I wanted to go all these cool cute little towns. He's like, no, one day in Dublin because we're doing this. I said, okay, whatever. I don't like Guinness, so you can have my little beer ticket. But what's really interesting about Guinness is you guys are all familiar with the Guinness Book of World Records, right? Well, in a very similar way that John Deere got started, Guinness got started the same way. So it was in the 20s, all their business was word of mouth. But in 1950, they had a managing director by the name of Sir Hugh Beaver. And Hugh baby, he said, you know what? I want to go bird hunting. So he's out with his team. I guess it was like a team building event. They went out and they were trying to shoot grouse and plovers. And they were arguing, but it was a really fun argument of what bird flies faster. And as they started arguing about it in a very lighthearted way, they said, you know what? I bet you if we're having conversations about what's bigger, what's faster, that other people in pubs all across Ireland are having the same conversations. So let's create a book of records. And so they created this book of records, and they gave away, 1952, gave away their first 1,000 copies. And that started off their content marketing. That's how they started. And now to this day, they sell the book, and it has made a record for the most copyrighted sold book around the globe. The book has a son. Do you guys know that story?
No.
So again, content marketing. All right, who has one of these in their wallet? American Express. Anyone? Anyone? Cool, let's go travel. So American Express is much like, I saw another hand over there. Is that Patrick? All right, I figured a suit would have that. All right, so I'm like our suit crowd. Hey, thank you so much, Chuck Taylor crowd. So American Express, 1950, what did they do? They created travel guides. So they were looking to pull people in, travel bloggers. My website, which is also considered, I have most of it is a blog, also is all about content that leads to money, that leads to sales on the front end, on the back end. American Express started doing that in 1915. Over here we've got Whole Foods. Have you guys ever been to the Whole Foods site, or you ever walk into Whole Foods and they've got the cute little pamphlets, and it has what's on there? Recipes. Here's how to make grilled tofu. Who doesn't want to make grilled tofu? Am I right?
Me.
Nobody, not me.
There's a lot of names, and I feel like you guys are mocking me now. No. Yes, very much. Okay. But you get the drift. They're pulling us in with content because now Whole Foods can say, oh, by the way, we've got organic, gluten-free, GMO-free tofu right here for $99.99 because that's how much it's going to charge. Does anyone here eat tofu? Anyone? Yeah. Okay.
Proud tofu eater.
Oh, thank you guys.
Oh, that explains the bird yesterday. Okay.
So what it comes down to is a marriage proposal, and I'm not talking about the stuff that we see on reality TV. Is that, how many of you guys are married? Who's happily married? I'm just kidding. Who's married?
All my hands went down.
Well, we'll say. No, about today, honey. Yeah, so how many of you guys went on dates before you got married? How many dates? Just yell out a number. Like,
a lot.
50, 100?
No,
1 billion?
100. More than I want.
Yeah. Did anyone go on one date or 2 dates?
No.
No, because that's left for reality TV shows. And so what we have to do is
I
date.
actually did
Oh,
one,
oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was an arranged marriage. So.
Arranged marriage.
almost.
Almost. Okay. So
If it was
that's-
0, then it would be arranged, but because it was 1. it was-
Somebody else did the planning.
Are you still married?
I'm still married, happy married.
Fantastic. So yeah, so once in a while, we can hit
There was for
the
example,
lottery.
Story, I'm sorry that I screwed up your story.
Oh.
Go to the doctor.
There's always an exception.
To the doctor.
You know what? I love it because there's always an exception.
Yeah.
There's always an exception. We don't always have to do marketing the correct way. We need to be out there because you never know, right? You never know. So, and I think Gary Vee, what's the line by Gary Vee? Like, don't make the 19-year-old dude move. Basically, like, don't go for sex on the first date. And as business owners, that's what we're doing. We're going into, Dave was saying this, we go into networking and we think we're gonna walk away with the sale. And that's really the wrong way. It could happen. I mean, there could be this miracle and like the perfect wife, it all comes together after a date. He's like, please don't stop talking about me. Be Joy, now I know why your name is Be Joy, it's a great name. So don't go for sex on the first move. All right, so 78% of consumers will trust you if you create more content. And this is because know, like, and trust. Greg, you know me from where?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. Do you feel like you kind of know me a little bit?
Yes, very familiar.
Very, very familiar, like, not stalking me or anything of that nature, but yeah, I go on LinkedIn.
Actually, when she posted it, I had now instant recognition from the content.
And here you sit today with your Chuck Taylors.
So it only took all of your content and all of my content.
It can be a long game. But the point is that Greg and I are now, this is gonna, again, sound weird, like we're know, like, and trust. So if there was a match for me to buy from Greg's services or vice versa, we're a little bit closer in getting to know each other. And ultimately, we want to make all of these friends. So that's why that statistic is on there. And then also, content marketing means that we're gonna spend less money. One of the biggest mistakes I've seen, I talk to clients and I say, okay, we're talking about Facebook ads. Somehow the conversation always goes to Facebook ads. Who here has tried Facebook ads? You haven't dabbled in them yet? Oh, Edward Jones.
I can't.
Edward Jones,
Yeah.
I know, rules, regulations, ugh, boring. So a lot of my clients will say, oh, Becca, I tried Facebook ads. It didn't work. All right, Susan, how many times did you try Facebook ads?
And $13 budget, one day.
Oh, right. Or they put all the budget in one, whatever the budget is, it's all in one day. And that's what they come back with. Oh, I tried it once, I tried it twice, it doesn't work. All right, girl, where'd you send them to? Well, I sent them right to my shopping cart. I wanted them to buy this lotion that I made from my garage. Oh, so it didn't work. Nope, it doesn't work. And what they miss is there's a lot of steps in Facebook ads. It's not the same as putting an ad in a newspaper and doing the same exact thing and putting it on Facebook. It's a whole different game. However, Mark Zuckerberg does put a little blue button that says boost, and he makes it really easy to take all of our money. So it feels like we're doing something. I'm getting a smile back there. Has anyone ever hit the boost button thinking, well, maybe?
Yeah.
I have.
Usually.
I have. Sometimes I just cross my fingers and see what I can get out there. But we want our ads to go to content. We want to put on what Jenna is doing right now, I think in the 90-day challenge, is a funnel. They need to be funneled through content, and that's the only way we can do it. And so thus, we become media companies. We are all media companies. American Express understood this in 1915. John Deere understood this in 1895. I understood it in about 2012, that I needed to go in the content direction. So as Gary's saying, producing content is now the baseline. Whole Foods is not doing what Kroger's doing. Do you guys know when you walk into a Kroger, who's walked into a Kroger or Tom Thumb? Okay, it's one experience, right? And you're like, ah. And then you walk into, let's say, a Central Market. That Central Market right over off George Bush, amazing, right? It's just a whole, they've got music, someone's playing the guitar with their gluten-free deodorant, and they're
Wine.
loving it. What?
Wine.
And they do have wine. My husband and I go to Whole Foods, and we start out at the bar. I usually get a Velvet Hammer from Petticolas Brewery. If you guys have ever had that, it's about 11% alcohol percentage. And then we go shopping. I don't know why we think this is a good idea, but
Well, Whole Foods supports it.
because Whole Foods completely supports it. And then we look the next day, I'm like, wow, we could have spent that at Kroger like in a month, and we spent it in one night at Whole Foods. Like, that's our date night. It's kind of sad. All right, so next we're going to go into the platforms. How many of you guys are on social media right now? And throw out the platforms that you're using.
LinkedIn,
Facebook,
Facebook, Instagram.
Instagram, Facebook, what else?
Twitter,
LinkedIn,
LinkedIn.
Medium.
Love LinkedIn.
TikTok.
TikTok. Hi, TikTok. TikTok. Has anyone been on TikTok? I went on TikTok because I felt like I had to.
No, please
What?
don't. They asked if it was one of their assignments. I said, please, no.
No, just stay. Okay, so this is why I put the hearts on here.
I was
Is
just
that-
checking what I missed that on your
You have to decide, and we'll get to the customer avatar part, but you have to decide what's the quickest way to cash, right? We all need cash. We all need consistent income. There are a lot of channels out there and a lot more channels coming. So I want you to at least walk away today feeling confident in one. Just do one thing where you think your ideal client is hanging out. Okay, you don't need to do them all. So I get, my heart races because I learn about something and I'm like, I'm gonna do it too. So I get excited and my eyes get so big and then I realize I can't execute. So I need to back off. And then I go on LinkedIn, I hear some guru talking about what to do for marketing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough, I need to do more. So I'm constantly battling in my own head what I need to do. But for me, LinkedIn is my quickest way to cash. And so I'm gonna spend 80 to 90% of my time on LinkedIn and especially on video. So I wanna go through, what?
Amen.
Thank you, hallelujah, praise the Lord. I was raised very, very strict religious. I am no longer on that path. I have fallen off that strict religious path, but I can definitely appreciate it, hallelujah or amen. All right, so we're gonna go through some of the channels. I am not gonna cover TikTok today. I'm sorry to disappoint nobody.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my key.
You can get that from Gary Vee. Pinterest. Pinterest is phenomenal. So running a website, the #1 traffic generator for my website is Pinterest, because Pinterest is a visual search engine. So it's sort of like Google, except it's in pretty pictures. And there's a lot of women on there, although the men are coming over, which is awesome. And it's all about the content, and Pinterest doesn't get pissed off at me when I want to send people outside of the platform, unlike some of the other characters out there, i.e. Facebook, i.e. LinkedIn now. So Pinterest is where I create these fabulous images and I share them to group boards. I create images, and y'all can take a picture, y'all can take a screenshot with your camera. If you
Or
want
it's
to.
on Facebook Live if they
Oh
need
yeah,
to
you
come
can
back
watch
to
it
it.
there, take a picture, whatever you want to do. Who's on Pinterest? And what is your experience so far?
I have
Yay, nay? Are you
15,000 followers.
nice?
So, yeah, I don't know exactly, I haven't used that yet much, but I've built a pretty substantial audience there.
So you're using it part-time?
Depends on the business.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's there.
I mean, yeah.
Who else is using it? Anyone?
Who's what?
Not for business.
Just opening an account and doing
I
nothing.
have for
counts.
clients,
Yeah.
but they had beautiful homes.
I'm locked out of my account.
What'd you do?
That's
I
Story.
have no idea.
Becca, does this apply to B2B, if you're selling to the businesses, then does it apply?
Okay, so on Pinterest, a great question. Pinterest is about content. So depending on what are you selling?
Software.
Software. Okay, I'm gonna say Pinterest may not be your first platform for you, for B2B. So it does depend. B2B can work on there, B2C can work on there. For software, maybe not at this time. You could probably find ways to go about it, but I would say, why don't you head over to LinkedIn and do some social listening on Twitter before you try to figure out if Pinterest will work for you. So 600 by 900 images. Do you guys have a place to create images? You have a tool. I use Canva. I used to use picmonkey.com. Now I use canva.com. I use the free version on everything that I can, and then upgrade if I need to after that. But there's a lot of free tools out there to use. Text overlay. So Instagram has no text. It's just a pretty picture, right? Pinterest, they like it when you put text over it, like the 12 best date nights in Dallas, or 10 ways to get rid of your pain right now. So that would be for Rayanne. She could have a nice, pretty picture on there. Perfection is what Pinterest likes. And then use keywords and use group boards. There's a function on there where other people, it's like walking into a crowd and sharing your content with a lot of other folks who might share it as well. Facebook. Okay, everyone here is on Facebook, I imagine, because Facebook was one of the first. So Facebook is a social media site for communities. Right now, I'm finding a lot of power in groups. I think we're gonna see a shift for groups over pages. Have any of you guys ever been challenged by pages? Because I sure have. Yeah, pages can be a little bit challenging as far as the reach that's happening, but it's important to be on there, especially for your demographic. So for my audience, I skew older. So I skew, as Dave mentioned, my age before, that I was older. So it skews 35 and up over on Facebook, and that's a great place for me to be. So I don't always get the reach that I want to, but I'm gonna show you some examples of ways that I trigger my audience, understanding how they're thinking and what I should be posting on Facebook. But I do have a Facebook group for my website, and of course for my dog moms, I have a group for the dog moms as well. And groups are you can make them closed or you can make them secret, but it's a safe space for people to ask questions. So right now, my dog mom group, one of the dog moms lost her dog. So she's extremely emotional, thinking that she's no longer a dog mom. And I don't think that she would share that conversation on a page because it's more public. But in a group, we can all like go in there and give her big hugs and send emojis and really talk to her inside the group. So best tips on here, make sure that your cover photo is good for both desktop and mobile. Okay, so when you create a new cover photo, make sure that it's clear. It shows exactly what you do. So don't be cute about it, say what you do. Put it up there, publish it, and then go over to your mobile phone and make sure that it fits on your mobile screen just right. Because sometimes, just like LinkedIn, it throws it off just a little bit. And then I said ease up on any links. So Facebook likes itself, and I'm sure Jenna's probably told you this before, Facebook likes itself. So when you put a link in your post, your reach will be decreased. So what does this mean? Because all I like to do is share links to my content. So I pick and choose. I'm still gonna put a link up there. And I just know that the reach won't be as good, but I know that people are coming back to my page and they're going to look at it and they'll scroll through and they'll be able to see it again. Any questions about Facebook? Before I move on. How are you guys liking your Facebook strategies?
I like it,
Yeah?
but I'm leveraging Pixel and paid.
And your audience is for home
Yeah.
industry? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good place, plus you can get reviews. Rayanne, you're on Facebook, aren't you? Yeah. Going good?
I haven't ventured into Pixel yet, I'm not there yet.
One thing at a time. How about this guy, Quora? Have you guys ever ventured over to Quora? How do you like it?
You have to be like posting regularly to even show up on this website. Kind of like you have to be a thought leader on any specific topic. It takes a lot of time to think.
You know what? It does. So what's really interesting is that there are things that clearly take more time. And so if we want to leverage, we want to scale what we're doing, it's not going to be as easy. However, I really like working from home, and I like not having to drive around town to shake one hand at a time, where I could do a lot of these platforms in my pajama pants, which I really love doing. So sometimes when you see me, Greg, when I'm on video on LinkedIn, sometimes it's just like a button-up shirt and pajama pants, like poodle pajama pants underneath the table. You never know. So Quora is really important. It's a website, and it's about questions being answered. So I will literally go over to Quora with content. I have content on my website, and this is the main takeaway from today is create content on your website. I'll go over and I'll look up questions on McKinney, Texas. So someone might ask, like, should I move to Houston or should I move to McKinney? What's the best restaurant in Allen? What's the best restaurant in McKinney? Well, I have content on that. So it's no sales pitch, but I go and I put a link and I answer. I'm like, hey, I think McKinney is a great place. Really cute downtown, a lot of quaint restaurants. I want you to check it out. And then I'll put a link to my content. There is no sales pitch. I can imagine for financial planners, that would be a good spot for you guys to maybe work around the regulations. I know you probably have to go to your committees to ask if that's okay. But then I have my Google Analytics open and I watch the traffic come in. And what's on my website is funnels to collect email addresses, other opt-ins, and to build a relationship with them. And that's all from Quora. Guys, that's one question at a time. But I can walk into a room and I can talk to someone who actually wants information that I have instead of walking into some happy hour, LinkedIn local, whatever it is going on, and not knowing who I'm standing in front of, what questions they have. I just want to talk to people who want answers to the questions that I can answer. So your best tips, just like LinkedIn, I want you to go over to Quora and optimize your profile. Your profile should state clearly what you do. Just like your 30-second commercial, very clear. You need to have a call to action. What do you want them to do? And as much information to guide them to how they can work with you, how they can get more information. So make sure that's done on your Quora profile. I promise you, you're going to get more traffic if you take that extra step. What else do I have here? This is a marathon. So Ravi was saying, this takes a while. Sure does. It takes time, but it works.
It stacks.
Yeah,
Over time.
absolutely. Okay. Instagram. Instagram is probably my least favorite because I don't have the energy to make it so beautiful. So I don't do the business one. But how many of you guys are on Instagram? A few of you? This side over here, the John Deere side?
Well,
Awesome.
allegedly I am, but I don't do anything with it.
So Instagram is interesting because it's all about the aesthetic. And it started out as a photographer's website or their social platform. And they wanted beautiful pictures. And I look at other bloggers on there and I'm like, oh my gosh, they've got their preset filters, they're killing it. They got their peace sign in front of, I don't know, they're on top of the Grand Canyon about to fall off with the peace sign. I'm like, wow, I can't, I'm never gonna get that shot. So what I do is I go over there and I do social listening. I optimize my profile so it clearly states what I do. I have a link at the top. You can put one link to your website. I use a link tree so I can have multiple links. Linktree is another free site. And I go over there and I listen. So that means, at very minimum, make sure you have a little bit of something on Instagram. And that's kind of all I do, just a little bit. But I go in and listen because guess what? We can all agree that people are talking a lot and sharing a lot. And they use hashtags, hashtag financial planning, hashtag retirement, hashtag McKinney, Texas, hashtag home upgrades, home renovation, McKinney, Texas, Plano, Texas. And I go and I find these hashtags and I go and I like and engage and I support their efforts, whoever's talking about the topic that I want to go after. So you said you were on, what's your name? I'm sorry.
Sorry, Dagmar.
I'm sorry?
Dagmar?
Dagmar, okay. So you're on Instagram, but you're not using it.
Yeah, I signed up and then
Okay.
somehow it goes, Facebook and Instagram puts it together at the same time.
Yeah. So do you plan on using Instagram?
Hopefully not.
So you don't want to post on Instagram?
No, it's just, I'm so busy with Facebook and LinkedIn that
Yeah.
adding something else sounds like so much effort.
Yeah. There's effort involved in marketing. I get it. What do you sell?
Coaching programs for entrepreneurs.
Okay, so your audience is all over Instagram. They are on LinkedIn and they are on Facebook. So I'm not telling you not to do that strategy. I'm just using you as an example. So thank you for sitting right in front of me. So I
They're
can-
not on Facebook?
They are on Facebook. They are on
They're
LinkedIn.
everywhere.
They're everywhere. Yeah, the strategy's good. But on Instagram, if you had 5 minutes a day, you could also go and search who is using those hashtags and you could jump in on those conversations. These
So
are
the entrepreneurs
tools.
would be on the photo networking site?
Well, there's hashtag search,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
Dallas business owner or DFW,
It wouldn't be your
whatever.
first.
You have to go through this.
It's not your first.
It's not your
search.
first strategy. I'm using you as an
Do
example.
well on one before you move to the other.
Yeah, I'm using you solely as an example. I'm not saying you absolutely need to do this. I'm all in, like the chips are all in on LinkedIn right now, but I do take about 5 minutes a day to go and search for the cities that I'm focused on, Allen, Frisco, and I go and engage. I take 5 minutes. If my husband's driving, I'm doing it in the car. So it's a very half-assed strategy, but it gets me a little bit closer to people, the know, like, and trust, because maybe they've seen me on LinkedIn, maybe they've met me in person, and now they can see that I'm engaging on Instagram. And you know what? I'm actually supporting someone else's efforts, and so I'm all about that.
Very similar, because I don't have Instagram, I think I struggle with, but I don't even comment, I just use emojis, and it works pretty damn well. So
Yes.
I'll go through and go, who's posting,
Yes.
they already come pre-fed to my feed. I say, this hashtag I want to follow, whether that's DFW Realtors or whatever. Then it comes in my feed, and then I just put emojis on it, once or twice a week. I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. It's very minimal. I also do the double emoji.
I like triple
I
emoji.
do a comment.
Yes,
Well, I do double comment.
okay.
double comment emoji, and it always gets noticed. So I leave 2 comments in a row with emojis both times. This is not a brilliant strategy. This is
No.
just a little attention to a website that has content in that area.
Yeah.
5 minutes a day.
When you develop your content, how do you post it? Like, is it posted on your website homepage or do you do it as a blog?
It's on my website. It's in the blog section, and then on Instagram, I can move my links around using Linktree, and I move those links up. So my latest post, I'll move up on my Linktree. Do you guys know what Linktree is?
No, this is
so-
interesting.
Linktree is a free service, so on my Instagram it has like my little profile headline, a sentence, and then there's a place for one link. And so there's a company by the name of Linktree, and there's others like it as well. And they let me put this link, it says Linktree, and it's Linktree/Becca Niederkrom. And when you click on that, it just is a one page with multiple links. So it might be how to work with me, connect with me on LinkedIn, so I can put multiple links on a landing page. So that's what Linktree is. There's other services out there that do that, but I think it's just, for me, I like being able to rotate content. I like being able to cross-promote, making sure that they're coming to see me on my Facebook pages, my groups, or on LinkedIn.
So it's a double click for the user. Do you think you're losing them in the process, or you're
They're-
gaining because they have choices of links?
I've heard argument go both ways, and so to that question, I A/B test. So I do both. Sometimes I just put my home page, and then the next month I put my Linktree. So I just play around with it. Again, Instagram is not my number one, so it's just an extra. I like it, but I've heard arguments pro and con. Good questions. Any other questions on Instagram, y'all? Oh, yes, ma'am.
About 5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes? Okay. Podcasting, I need to get through to customer avatar. Podcasting is amazing. I'm going to tell you the tool I use is Anchor. Anchor will let you get started. What happens with podcasting is your voice being heard allows you to become an authority, basically that media company, on your topic, on your business. So I'm going to flip through these pretty quickly. Blogging, this is my main source of income is blogging. Some of the examples I have on here is you want to write, unlike the magazines, we want to write in short sentences, short paragraphs, because our reader now has a very, very short attention span, right? We're getting pulled in all of these different directions. And so using short sentences and adding internal links. So if I talk about, let's say, Frisco, Texas, I'm going to make sure I interlink to another article on Frisco, Texas. That's why I put in Brookie Lynn's bungalow. Twitter, social listening is Twitter. That's all I do on Twitter. Social listen, just like Instagram. I go and search and I jump into that cocktail party. LinkedIn right now is hopping. You guys are all on LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is hopping. Video is a top tip. Using LinkedIn Nearby. Have you guys used LinkedIn Nearby?
Yeah, we do.
Who's used it?
What does it do?
Okay, open up your phone.
I learned it here.
Turn on your LinkedIn. Has Jenna taught this?
Yep.
You turn on your phone. At the very bottom of your LinkedIn, when you're looking at LinkedIn, you've got the people icon. You tap the people icon at the bottom. At the top menu, it says Find Nearby. It should say off right now. If you turn that on, and I'll stay after and show this to you guys.
You have to do it every time.
You
So
have
if
to
you
keep it
go-
open
Yeah.
for it to work. So it's great for a situation like this where you can get attention in a room and get everyone connected, and then everyone
Now it
who's,
says share my nearby status. This must be a newest upgrade,
yes.
because you can turn it on permanently.
So I'm gonna skip ahead because I wanna cover customer avatar really quick, but I will take a look at your phones after. All right, so what do we say? We need to understand who our audience is, how we can trigger them to talk. If you're on Facebook, you have to understand everything about them. This is one of the triggers for my Facebook page. This was my parents over at Tupp's Brewery. My audience loves local breweries. They love Tupp's Brewery in McKinney. So I had this picture of my folks stealing beer from Tupp's Brewery. And what it got, it didn't get me a sale, but it got me the engagement. It got me those conversations. Same thing with Buc-ee's. If I say Buc-ee's, people freak the F out, and I love it. I'm like, watch this. I'm gonna put Buc-ee's, and they go wild. So it's understanding their demographic, it's understanding their psychographic. Where do they shop? Where do they eat? Where do they hang out? So that way I can use that language when I do my psychographic avatar, my demographic on my avatar. I'm pulling out phrases and I'm using them again in my updates on LinkedIn, in my blogging, in my Twitter, in my Instagram, so that they can self-select. And this is something I'm going to talk to for just a second.
Sorry, I just made
done?
a sell. We were talking about money while you sleep.
Rented land, and this brings up Jenna. So you guys are working on your lead magnets, correct? Lead magnets, you guys know what lead magnets are? Talk to Jenna, because your goal is to get everyone off of these platforms that are rented land. So how do you do it? I call it the Chick-fil-A strategy. Get them onto your email list, but you gotta give them something they want. So if you're walking by the mall food court, which I did go into Collin Creek Mall yesterday before it got totally destroyed, well, in a couple days, and there was like the old Chick-fil-A. You guys have been by Chick-fil-A, right? They stand out there with a platter, and what do?
Give you
Samples. You want a little chicken nugget? I sure do. And then what they're hoping is that you're ready to come in and buy the combo meal. So what you two are doing with your lead magnets, what Jenna's teaching you is awesome, is to get people off of rented land. And I spoke too slow, so I'm gonna just stop right there, but if you guys have any questions, I will pause and hang out over here.
Let's
and
give her,
LinkedIn.
let's give her applause.
Jenna, I totally forgot this. I want you to open this up. So one thing that I want you guys to take away is social listening. Go ahead and open it. It's not anything super dramatic. It's okay. It's not a frog. It is dark chocolate. Do you like dark chocolate? All right. So
It's all over the internet on purpose.
it's all over. I remember I went to a conference, this was like 6 years ago, and I had written about my love and history with M&Ms. And I showed up to this meetup at this conference in Chicago, and this guy showed up with a king-size pack of M&Ms for me. And that was like, from there, we built a relationship just off of M&Ms. So I went, looked at what she liked, dark chocolate, and made sure I brought that here today.
You know what's
So,
sad?
social listening.
I wrote that first time on MySpace.
Oh my God.
I just copied it from platform to platform.
Hey. Yeah, so as she said, Becca will be around, so if you wanna pick her brain with stuff, you're not gonna like bolt out of here, right?
No, I'm here.
Okay. So awesome, awesome.